Hello again. Today I'll be reading from The Many Uses of a Meat Mallet. If you'd like to read more, go to sharilane.substack.com and read episodes 7 and 8. For the longest time, no one was really sure where Gloria came from or who she was before she arrived on Lucer Island. That isn't unusual on this small island tucked modestly amid its more ostentatious neighbors in the San Juan archipelago, as pretty much everyone who isn't a second or third generation islander is an escapee from a past that remains, by choice, largely hidden. She arrived at least a decade before Paulo was found and then lost. Of that much everyone was sure, but the Gloria before now was a mystery. Gloria herself is unremarkable, a petite woman with short, unassuming curls of an indistinct color that makes it difficult to accurately guess her age, other than somewhere north of 40 and south of 50. She has a soft voice and a face that is attractive, but not exceptionally so. Mo, however, is a presence. Mo is a Great Pyrenees, a mix, Gloria is quick to say, because on Lucer Island, owning a purebred is considered just this side of shameful. It is pretentious, a sign you think of your pet as a status symbol, like a flashy car or an expensive piece of furniture. And therefore it comes as no surprise to anyone that Cherry Duluth has a purebred Pomeranian. Mutt is the preferred type, though the Coombs' Greyhound is forgiven because she's a rescue from racing. Anyway, whatever Mo is mixed with, the percentage of non-Great Pyrenees must be very, very small. The dog reportedly weighs in at 152 pounds. His outer coat alone consists of 6-inch long hair. That's how he got his name, Gloria explains to anyone who asks. Within a week of adopting Mo, Gloria and every item of clothing she owned was covered with a layer of beautiful white hair. And she decided if she called him Mo, she could say she was wearing mohair. Together they get the proverbial double take, like a team in a slapstick routine or a child's picture book. Tiny and Mr. Big go for a walk. At some point, no one can remember when, Gloria took over the island's only fine dining establishment and renamed it La Maison du Chien. If you don't remember your high school French, that translates as the doghouse. Pursuant to the unwritten rules of the island, everyone refused to use the French name and insisted on calling it the Doghouse Cafe. Within a year after Gloria commissioned the sign, with its French words and curlicued letters, and hung it over the entry, the sign was completely covered by clematis and other greenery, and the islanders quickly forgot it had any other name. Gloria and Mo live in a one-bedroom house behind the restaurant, a tiny cabin tacked onto the land by the original restaurant owners because they needed a place to stay. To the south, the unromantically named Spit holds other houses, most much grander than Gloria's little home, and the Doghouse Cafe sits directly in front of and to the north of the cabin. The east side of the cabin abuts the village commons, and the windows on the west side of the cabin gaze out over the capricious waters of the Salish Sea. It is rumored that Gloria and Mo sleep in a California king-size bed together, with the dog curled protectively, if somewhat oppressively, around his human. That's only conjecture. To this day, no one but Sheriff Tom has ever been in the cabin, not even Gloria's closest friends. That's how private Gloria is. During the day, Mo is allowed in the restaurant before and after closing, and he hangs out in the screened porch off the restaurant during business hours. He gets a regular stroll around the village before the breakfast shift, before the lunch shift, and before and after the dinner shift. Gloria is scrupulous about picking up after Mo, which is a good thing since Mo is prolific in that regard. Gloria likes to point out he obviously has a very healthy colon. Seeing the two of them out for their regular constitutional is a comforting predictability, like Big Ben striking the hour in London or the call to prayer in Istanbul. Mo is a serious dog, which is not to say he is unfriendly. It is apparently important to him to make a first-hand appraisal when meeting someone. If you are a stranger, he will stand up, place his gigantic paws on your shoulders, and gaze intently into your eyes before solemnly licking you ever so gently on the tip of your nose. The Mo benediction and seal of approval. Until the events of that fateful year, the year I'm going to tell you about, almost no one had failed to pass muster. Well, okay, there was one time. Gloria likes to tell the story of the man with the overly wide smile who tried to come into the restaurant when she was alone getting ready to open for dinner. Mo looked him over, she says, and then stood squarely in the man's way, refusing him entry. When the man tried to step around him, Mo growled. It was a quiet kind of growl, Gloria says, casual and almost courteous. as if to say, this is a friendly warning. You might think twice about taking another step. It's up to you, of course. Mo is wonderful with children. His only fault, if you can call it that, is a tendency to decide he knows better than they what is needed and to herd them calmly but insistently wherever he intends them to go. Many a toddler has found herself firmly blocked from the slide or any other playground equipment Mo decides is questionable. The point is this: everyone knows Mo. Everyone knows his habits and his character and his history, but for a long time, all that was known of Gloria's pre-Lucer Island days was that she was married before but now is not. She attended some well-known culinary program in Paris and graduated with honors. The plaque is proudly displayed on the restaurant wall. And she paid cash for the restaurant, and that nobody, but nobody, can outcook Gloria. The restaurant is communal asset as much as eatery. Most of the island's young people work at the Doghouse Cafe at some point before sailing off in search of adventure. Many of them, possibly even most, have no work skills to speak of when they arrive, but Gloria's philosophy seems to be that as long as you come to work in some semblance of on-timeness, smile at the customers, and wash your hands after you go to the bathroom, you're hired. There was a kid about a year ago. The rumor's outgrown the truth, as so often happens, but everyone is pretty sure it was the swore-out son, Mark, who had to be fired. Here's how that went down, according to local lore. Tourist 1, the tri-tip, is it pasture-raised? Mark, I don't know, I guess. Tourist 2, how long is it aged? Mark, Tourist 1, can it be made without the caramelized shallots? I don't know why people put shallots on everything these days. I hate shallots. Mark, okay. Tourist 1, tell me about the salmon. What's the deal with cedar planks? I thought eating salmon was a no-no for all you whale huggers. Mark, showing a little spine, the tiniest spark of personality. Well, the humans are eating the salmon and blocking off their rivers and stuff, and the orcas are dying, and their babies. Did you see the news about that mom whale that carried the dead baby whale on her back like forever? Tourist 2, better skip the salmon. We don't want to be tarred and feathered and run off the island on a rail. Tourist 2 laughs. Tourist 1 laughs. Much longer and louder than the joke deserves. So, tell me about the ahi tuna. Mark, look, I'll just put you down for the steak, okay? I don't have time for this. And he pivots and walks back toward the kitchen in what he clearly hopes is a decisive manner. Strike that. The rumors are wrong. What really happened was that Mark continued to stand there dithering until Gloria came over and told the tourist he was having steak, and if he didn't like it, he could go to Retha's Bar and Grill and try that shit on Retha. We now know the rumors are wrong because after Gloria heard about it, she corrected the narrator and set the story straight. Back to the history of the restaurant. Lucer Island has no seedy tavern. Retha's Bar and Grill doesn't count. Retha serves honest burgers and sweet potato fries and Northwest Microbrewery beer. So the Doghouse Cafe is one of only 2 options for a well-made Tom Collins or a glass of Cabernet from a local winery. It even has a traditional bar that looks into the kitchen where the magic happens. Pretty much everyone of drinking age ends up sitting at the bar at some point, and something about the lacquered teak surface splits your soul and makes you spill its contents like a piñata, or like one of those plastic tubes filled with tiny colorful beads, and you tell the bartender everything, even things you've never told anyone else, and Gloria, cooking up a storm behind the bartender, hears everything. As a result, Gloria knows just about everything there is to know about anything on Lucer Island. She knows Larry Coombs hates being a lawyer and was terrified of the idea of adopting a child right up until the day it happened. She knows Susan Drosky wondered if she made a mistake shedding Bill Beautiford out of their daughter's life, wonders if by trying to protect herself from uncomfortable entanglements she hurt not only Bill and his mother Lauren, but also, more importantly, Marta, depriving her of father and grandmother. Once, Susan had given herself permission to come down for a drink. Marta was hanging out with her teacher for the evening, and because she rarely drank, halfway through the cocktail, she was a soggy drunk. You can't live your life based on what's best for other people, can you? She said, squinting. Can't you? The bartender said, and Gloria added, it's not the kind of thing you can know in retrospect. You just have to kind of make the decision and then see what happens. Gloria knows Jim Perkins is pining after Lauren Beautiford, though of course that's Lucer Island's worst kept secret. And she knows that may come to nothing. because Lauren's heart vibrates to an atonal hum of grief and loss that exists outside the hearing range of most ordinary humans. All of which is to say, again, that Gloria knows pretty much everything about everyone, but no one knew much about Gloria until one day they did. Remember that you can subscribe to read all the episodes at sharilane.substack.com. We're almost done with this series. The last episode posts on August 9. If you decide to subscribe, don't dilly-dally, because that will be taken down in early October to make room for The Dogs of Lucer Island, What the Dogs Know, which is the sequel. Hope to see you next time.